Greetings and salutations, peeps. It's yours truly, the almighty Microsoft Sam, and oh boy, has it been bothering me. Why? Because there's been a lot of talk about this controversial new thing YouTube has coming out. Most specifically, it's YouTube's AI age verification thing a lot of people are freaking out over, which is why it's been bothering me for almost a week now. My apologies, but I have to make this video to get it off my chest regarding this situation I'll be talking about shortly. So, YouTube's AI age verification thing. Where do I begin? As far as I know, YouTube already has this copy thing in place 5 years ago, which is regarding whether or not their videos are meant for kids, with a possible threat of a $48,000 fine for violating it, which is approximately 56% of the $75,000 fine in Bonzi that costed him his program in 2004.
Hey, why do you keep bringing this up? Expand on.
Shut up, Bonzi. I'm currently making a video. Normally I don't talk about such topics like this, but since this has been bothering me for about a week now, since I first heard about it, I'll be discussing how YouTube's AI age verification works, and how this would impact the platform once it's rolled out on August 13th. According to YouTube, if the system identifies a teen user, it'll automatically apply age-appropriate experiences and protections, including things like disabling personalized ads, turning on digital well-being tools, and adding safeguards on recommendations that might be inappropriate to younger viewers, including limiting repetitive use of some types of content. Of what digital well-being tools are they referring to, you ask? Some of those tools include take a break and bedtime reminders, turning autoplay on or off by default, and crisis resource panels, which are all the things I know of so far. As for safeguards against recommendations that might be inappropriate or even harmful to young viewers, Nick Newman has provided a pretty good explanation in what types of content that YouTube's AI age identification system will put safeguards against, all for the sake of protecting children. Because reasons, maybe. If you take a look at my channel, you may see that a lot of my videos contain plenty of swearing, but the biggest giveaway here is that the vast majority of my videos contain a lot of action-packed violence that YouTube might flag as inappropriate, despite the fact that all of them are basically glorified slideshows with DTS voiceovers that sometimes have animations in them. None of my videos have any restrictions. The only exception that I found is that one of my videos got copyright claimed for using the Spanish flea song for one of the last transitions in my fourth Dumb and Ridiculous Signs episode, which is pretty much considered a classic at the time I'm making this video. But I digress, because that's the only instance that I found. I'm not a professional YouTuber. Making Microsoft Sam videos is practically my hobby nowadays. Now, I'm not entirely sure if video games are going to be affected by this, because a lot of the titles nowadays are violent, and tend to break a lot of rules. And yet, there's corncobs of young people who play those kinds of video games, and their viewer bases would also have a lot of young people who are also into those games, so I'm not entirely sure if that'll affect them in any way, or it'll prove to be devastating for those channels. I'm not sure.
Hate breaking this to you, but what would happen if someone tries to post a comment while that user's underage?
Holy shit, Bonzi, that's that one other digital well-being tool that I forgot to tell the viewers about. Thanks for the reminder. So, like what Bonzi said, if an underage person tries to post a comment in a video they are trying to watch, they will likely be given a privacy warning about posting stuff online. The same can be said when trying to upload videos in their channels, except all their uploaded videos will be set to private by default as an extra, quote-unquote, precaution. This is FutureSoft Sam. One thing I forgot to point out, before we get to the part where it bothers me, YouTube's AI system will estimate the user's age based on which videos they watched, what they browsed for, and what their watch history is. This means, if you have watched any animated shows simply for nostalgia's sake, and YouTube thinks all animations are meant for kids, you have been warned. Now back to the video. Now on to the very thing that has bothered me all week, and the very thing that got a lot of people on the internet freaking out over, and that is, if an AI system incorrectly thinks that a person is deemed underaged, while the user in question is actually an adult. Well, if that happens, the user has no other choice but to verify their actual age via one of the three options, all of which will potentially put him or her at serious risk of getting themselves a data breach, whether it be a government ID card, a credit card or debit card, or of all things, a selfie. And if you refuse to provide either of those, then you're pretty much out of luck, because there are no known alternatives to get around that, as far as I know, as I'm making this video. That thought was actually really scary, because when I first heard about that AI age verification thing that YouTube is rolling out, and when I look at the part where people have to provide the following things I said earlier, when they are flagged as underage by AI, I got extremely worried that I might be falsely flagged as a teen when it happens, and if I have to prove that I'm an adult, I'll have no other choice but to get myself a fourth data breach in order to do so. Not only is it scary, but it's also full of bullshit that I'm way too afraid to go through. That's why, over the past week, I tried to look for anything online that'll tell me that it couldn't be real. No such luck. All I keep finding is the same stuff about that feature I said about, and all those news links keep pointing to the same conclusion. If you're an adult and AI thinks you're a kid, you must have a credit card or government ID to verify your age. Hell, even Reddit isn't much help either, as a lot of users there are just as worried as I am, but instead of trying to seek answers, whether or not that decision's fake, they try to come up with oh so brilliant plans to push back or even reverse the decision by trying to sign petitions, and even threatening to boycott YouTube should that AI age thing roll out in that fateful day, as if they are trying to come up with a grand plan in destroying that platform's future plans in a short amount of time. Hot diggity bull diddly shit logic and reasoning. This isn't Dungeons and Dragons, where you could easily escape criminal custody by rolling a nat 20 in your diplomacy check. That's not how it works, because if YouTube's AI system thinks that you're underage, and if you outright refuse to provide them your sensitive info, it has to happen in a relatively large scale to cause problems. So unfortunately, based on what I could find, YouTube's decision to implement AI age verification on August 13th proved to be as real as how people said it is, so I'm afraid there's not really much we could do about it, except wait and see what happens. However, bringing Hitman back up, similar to what I said, YouTube would only change their minds if their AI system falsely flags people as underage, and they straight up refuse to provide them one of the three things I mentioned earlier, and the whole thing has to happen in scale to become an issue. However, to make things slightly less scary, Nick also said that premium users may or may not have to worry about that new system being in place, as a lot of our credit or debit cards are on file with YouTube, so they should know that we're of age anyway. This may probably mean, if you use a credit card for something like, for example, digitally buy a movie or a season of your favorite TV series, YouTube would know that your card has been verified, and thus would let them know that you're of age. Basically, out of all the three options, using either a credit or debit card for age verification seems to be the least of the three evils, as like I said, those cards are on file with YouTube for premium subscriptions or buying movies or TV seasons. But other than that, I'm absolutely not a huge fan of YouTube's AI age verification thing. Like, at all. Even if my YouTube account gets flagged as underage by AI in 4 days' time, I'm not gonna abandon that platform because of that, because YouTube is my primary website for posting Microsoft SAM videos, and my purpose is to entertain people with obnoxious Windows errors, dumb and ridiculous signs, monster killing and wanted level action, and overall having fun with text-to-speech voices doing silly stupid stuff. The best solution to this ordeal is not to sign a petition or boycott that platform. That's not how it works. The very thing we needed is clarification, and how we should prepare ourselves for when that new system rolls out. To make sure, whether or not any of your videos have any restrictions, all you have to do is look at your studio to check to see if there are any active restrictions imposed in any one of your videos. If you still think that something still isn't right, just click in your profile icon in the top right corner of your screen, then point your cursor into where restricted mode is, which you should turn it on to see what your channel looks like with it enabled. If you have restricted mode enabled, and see that the vast majority of your videos are completely missing, you'll be getting the basic gist of how people would see your channel if they are flagged as underage and refuse to verify their age. But anyways, I really hope you guys get yourselves prepared for that AI age verification getting rolled out in a few days, because this is still too early to tell if this new system affects us or not, and there's really not much we could do about it. Well, that's all what we have time for today. Sorry about this video being very concerning, because this is a topic that's been bothering me all week, so I really needed to get this off my chest. But anyways, I hope you understand about how that AI age estimation system would pan out on YouTube, and until next time, please take your time to do stuff that makes you happy, so that way you'll take your mind off it. Cheerio.